Seeing that the man hadn't given the codename after a long time, the pilot was about to kick him out. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Aoi managed to recall and say the codename assigned by his superior, thanks to his exceptional memory. Only then did his teammates bring him back to the base. But what exactly was going on here? It turns out that Aoi was once an experienced pilot, often sent on special missions. However, during his last mission, his plane unexpectedly crashed and caught fire. Although Aoi narrowly escaped with his life, he ended up falling into the hands of the Vietnamese army. They tightly bound his limbs and tied the other end to a water buffalo. As the Vietnamese soldiers whipped the buffalo, it ran wildly in pain, dragging Aoi behind it. But this was only the beginning of his nightmare. Later, Aoi was hung upside down in midair, and an ant nest was placed on his face. Although this method wasn't enough to kill him, the torture was so severe that Aoi wished he were dead. But even that wasn't the end. The Vietnamese soldiers pressed Aoi into a water tank, leaving only his head exposed so he could breathe. After they had their fun, they dragged Aoi to another area. Unexpectedly, along the way, they spotted an American helicopter. Suspecting that Aoi had taken the opportunity to tip them off, they immediately tied him to a tree and fired bullets at him repeatedly. They fired shots to threaten him. At this point, Aoi was suffering unbearably from the torture. Soon he was taken to a place that was practically a prison. The Vietnamese soldiers took off his shoes to prevent him from escaping into the jungle. Then, Aoi was locked in a wooden cage, with his feet tightly secured by a wooden beam, making it impossible for him to even turn over while sleeping at night. To temporarily escape this situation, the next day, Aoi secretly pulled out a nail from a nearby piece of wood, while the Vietnamese soldiers weren't paying attention. He then carefully polished it smooth with a stone, successfully making a key to unlock his shackles. From then on, all the prisoners could finally get a good night's sleep. But Aoi realized that staying here wasn't a solution. Soon the Vietnamese soldiers would start killing them, so he came up with an escape plan. The next day, everyone began to take action.